If you're anything like me, you're probably looking for a couple super cute, super last minute, and super budget friendly Valentine crafts, and I have got you all covered. You're gonna need a printer, you're gonna need some cardstock, and I'm gonna need you to get out your crafty pants because we're about to make some Valentines. So in this video, we're gonna be covering 3 separate crafts that are super adorable, and all you really need is some cardstock, an inkjet printer, and your Cricut. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So for our first one, we're gonna be creating this super cute Croc inspired gibbet holder. Gibbets are the little charms that go on Crocs. If you've got kids, you probably have heard this term before. They're super cute. They come in a variety of different designs, and you can find them on Amazon for super cheap. So we have a couple here with different little charms on them. They're so stinking cute. And like I said, you can order these in bulk on Amazon and on Shein and Temu and places like that. And they come in just a variety of different little pieces. They're so stinking cute, and they're very inexpensive, okay? So I mean, I didn't do the math for how much it would cost individually for each one of these, but really that's all that you're paying for. And I think we bought these in like a pack of, I want to say we bought these in maybe like a pack of 50, and it was under like $10, maybe even way less than that, you guys. So really very inexpensive, and as long as you've got that printer, you can print these out yourself and just make them with your Cricut. So let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial. So the first thing we're gonna need to do is go and snag our file from Maker's Gonna Learn website. This Croc file is so super cute, and we have tons of Valentine's options for you all. So if Crocs are not your thing, or maybe this design isn't what you want, we have lots of other options for you all to choose from. Here's our file. So we're just gonna quickly download that, pop open our zip folder, and then we're gonna drag and drop the PNG into Cricut Design Space. Now, if you're a very brand new beginner and you're like, whoa, what are you doing? How do you get there? What's going on? A lot of these little basic steps that I'm taking right now, we go over in our 30 days to master our Cricut whenever you join the membership. So it's broken down into bite-sized pieces, which makes it super easy for you if you're a super beginner. But if you are experienced, then you know this is, honestly, you could do this in your sleep, uploading files, uploading fonts. And that's what we do in the membership, is we get you to a place where you feel maybe unsure or not confident in using your Cricut, to a place where you're like, oh, I can upload a file like that fairly quickly. And so we do go over that inside of our membership, and I'll put a link below for you all if you want to check out all the fonts and files that we offer. We are constantly uploading new files to our website, new fonts to our website, new courses and things like that for you all to enjoy. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull in my image. Now, when you just pull this in by itself, it's just this hand-drawn, super fun image. But we want to use our Cricut, make it do the work for us. And so we're gonna have to add in the holes for the gibbets. You can see this one over here has these 2 circles with the lines beside them. And we're also gonna be adding an offset to our image, which basically means a border around the image, just to kind of make it look finished, okay? So from here, what we're gonna need to do is select the image we uploaded, and I'm gonna hide this one just so it's not confusing to anybody. So we've got our image right here. Now, first thing that I am going to do is go ahead and add my offset to my image. So select your image, and then up here you're gonna see the offset drop-down menu. Click that, and then from there we're gonna need to create a small offset. Now 0.25 isn't too bad, but I'm thinking 0.15 might be better. Okay, I actually do really like 0.15 better, but I want to show you all something that you need to pay attention to whenever you're doing print and cuts. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. It will default to black, but I want this to be white. You could technically change it to pink or purple, I mean whatever color you want, but we're going to go with a white here. I am going to change the background color of the canvas so you guys can really see what's going on. So we'll change that to gray. But do you see how there's little holes in our offset all the way around? I want to get rid of those holes. So I'm going to select the offset in my layers panel, And if it's a print and cut, it's not gonna let me contour out those little holes. So I'm gonna change the operation to basic cut, hit contour, and hide all contours. Okay, so it's gray. We need to make sure to change it back to white. And then we can select both the Croc image and the offset layer, and we're going to flatten it. This will turn it back into that print and cut. Okay, so this will print all together, and it will only cut around that white edge because we flatten the image with that background. Okay, now we need to add in our circles. So I'm gonna add in a pretty small circle. We're just gonna go over here to our basic shapes, grab a circle and shrink it down. Now I'm not printing and cutting these to actual size because they would be huge if we were doing that. So the gibbets are a little bit bigger than the cardstock, but it still looks really cute in my opinion. So we're gonna keep it how it is. I am gonna zoom in a little bit. And you can kind of place these wherever you want on the shoe. I'm kind of putting mine to the top right of each shoe. Let me change them to white so you can see. Okay, and then we do want to add in a line. So in your shapes, there's a line up here that you can use. We're going to need to rotate it 90 degrees. And we're gonna need to shrink it down. And you'll have to zoom in so it'll let you select it and move it. I'm just gonna touch it right here to my circle. Okay, right now it's set to score. If you've got the line selected, you can see under operation it says score. It also says score in your layers panel, but you wanna make sure that that is a basic cut. Okay, and then I'm just gonna hit Command D, and that's gonna duplicate my line, or Control D depending on if you're using a Mac or a Windows. And we're gonna put another one down here with our other circle. Okay, so let's zoom out. Now what you're gonna do is select everything, including the circles, the lines, and the image that we flattened earlier, and we're going to attach it. This is gonna make sure that these holes get cut out, and then it only cuts out around our words, okay? Now, from here, you're gonna wanna make sure to size this appropriately for however big that you want it. So the original one that I made is about 5 inches. I'm gonna make these about 6 inches, so a little over 6 inches. So I think this is actually perfect. And then let's go ahead and go to make it. So with the size, you're not gonna be able to fit as many on the paper as you would have with the smaller ones. So we're just gonna do 2 per sheet. Now, if you want to fit 3 per sheet, we can come back in here and shrink it up just a little bit closer to what it was before. And I think we should be able to fit like 3 on here. I'm just gonna see if it'll let us for the sake of trying it. No, it's gonna be way too close. So I say just make it bigger and do 2 per sheet, and then you have a bigger Valentine, and it's just cute that way. Obviously, you're probably gonna need more than 2 Valentines, so print as many as you need. We're just gonna do 2 for this video to show you all how to do it. So from here, select continue, and then we're gonna send this to the printer. I am using a Canon TS9500 series, and you don't need the bleed for this one. This is a full color image, but the offset is white, so we don't really need to add a bleed. That bleed is really there for images that have color that go all the way to the edge of the paper, and we do not need that in this case. And then I'm gonna hit use system dialog. I always use the system dialog when I print. It's a good habit to get into. That way you are getting the best quality prints every single time. I'm gonna feed this from the rear tray because I am using a medium weight cardstock. So think like anything between 60 and 80 pounds is gonna be your best bet for print and cut projects like this. And then I'm gonna use best quality on my print always. I always select best quality, and then we're gonna go ahead and print this. Okay, so I am using a light grip mat for this paper project, and that's typically what we like to use. Unless you've got a well-loved standard grip mat, that will work as well. And we're gonna line our print and cut paper up to the top left corner of our mats, and then we'll need to burnish or bray it down. This just prevents the paper from moving whenever it goes through the Cricut. And then back on the share screen, it wants us to verify the print quality, which was great. And we're gonna go ahead and hit done. And then I'm gonna be cutting this on a medium cardstock, okay? And we're just using a fine point blade, and I'm gonna go ahead and load this into my machine. Okay, so once it's cut, you're just gonna remove the excess paper and then flip your mat over and let your pieces kind of come off of the mat on their own. That way it doesn't bend your cardstock. And then you can see it cut out our little holes in here. Then you can take one of the charms and we're just going to, there's a little cut line that we added in here. If you find that it's still too small, you can always take a True Control knife or some scissors and kind of make that line a little bit longer. And then if you've only cut two, you can actually go back into Cricut Design Space and adjust the length of that line in Design Space. That way you're not having to manually come in and fix it. And then we're just gonna pop that right in. And I really like the size of these a lot better than what I originally showed you all. I think this bigger size is just better, it just looks better. I mean, how cute is that? So for our next craft, we're gonna be using this super cute little sunglasses file from Maker's Gonna Learn website. I'm gonna go ahead, download this, and we're gonna be pulling the PNG into Cricut Design Space again. So rinse and repeat on that print and then cut. We'll come over here to uploads, hit upload image, and then we're just gonna drag and drop that PNG right into Cricut Design Space. Okay, so once it comes into Cricut Design Space, it's gonna be pretty big, but we're going to resize this down until we get to this final stage, okay? So we're gonna resize this to about 3 inches wide. So I'm gonna come up here to our size, hit 3, and then a tab over, and it automatically adjusts the height proportionally, okay? And then we're gonna zoom in so we're not working from 1,000 miles away. And what you're gonna need to do is duplicate this image, okay? So while it's selected, I'm gonna hit Command D or Control D, or you can come up here and click this little button. So there's a few different ways that you can get there, but the command keys are my quickest way to get it done. And then I'm going to rotate this 180 degrees. So this top one is selected. Up here under rotate, we're just gonna type in 180. And it's going to put it upside down for us. But we need to make sure everything is connected. So I'm gonna come over here and get a basic shape. We're just gonna be using a simple rectangle. I'm gonna unlock my shape right here where we resized earlier. And we're just going to bring this in. We want it to be pretty narrow because it's going around the bridge of the nose of the sunglasses, okay? So you don't want it to be super thick, otherwise it's gonna have a hard time folding over that bridge. And then we're going to make it pink. And I'm gonna go to Arrange, Send Back. And then I'm gonna select all of this. So both flowers and that little rectangle, and we're gonna go to Align and Center horizontally. And then we're gonna flatten everything together, okay? This creates one unified image, and now Cricut knows I need to print this and then cut all the way around rather than cutting out that rectangle, cutting out all the shapes and all of that, and it'll be ready to go. Now with this one, the color does go all the way to the edge, so I am gonna add the bleed on here, and I'll show you guys what this looks like whenever it comes out of the printer. Go ahead and select print. So once it's printed, we're just gonna put it onto our light grip mat. We're gonna burnish it down. Now you will need some double-sided adhesive or glue dots. You could really use like hot glue or something along those lines, but a double-sided adhesive gun is gonna be super helpful for you. So back on Design Space, we're gonna hit done. And again, we're gonna cut this on medium cardstock. Okay, so we have printed these out, and it's gonna be hard for you all to see the bleed since this is just a solid color of pink, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut these, and then you'll be able to see where the bleed was around the edges of these flowers a little bit better. All right, so I'm gonna lift up this excess, and you'll be able to see here that there is pink around the edges of where the cuts were, and that is the bleed that we added before. So if we didn't add that bleed, then it wouldn't be there. So we've got our two pieces, and like we did before, I'm gonna flip this over and let my paper go with gravity. And then we're gonna get to this point, but in order to do that, we need to take our little flowers and we're just gonna slide them up under here, and then it will fold over. And you're just gonna kind of make sure that it lines up. And then I'm gonna put some double-sided adhesive on here. You really don't need 3 strips of this stuff. You really could probably get away with just one little strip. And then we're just going to connect it. And then just like that, you have these super cute little heart valentines, and then you can add and make as many as you want. These are fairly inexpensive on Amazon as well, but I'm gonna link everything that we use below for you all so that you can make these for yourself. Another thing to note is to make sure whenever you create that little rectangle in the middle that you make it long enough. The first one I made was fairly long enough, but this one, it's gonna stick out a little bit more. So if you want it to hang flush, you can make that rectangle a little bit longer so it's got more room to kind of lay down. So for the next one, I'm gonna use these super cute Valentine's cards that we just released. I absolutely love these. I'm gonna use this one right here, We're a Perfect Match. And we're gonna be creating a small little card to go on a pair of socks, which I think is so cute. This will be a fun Galentine's gift, in my opinion, like a bestie gift or something along those lines. So we've downloaded it. We're gonna pull in the PNG into Cricut. And you can use these files for lots of different ways. You can make your own card if you wanted to. You can make it just a tag if you wanted to. I think we're gonna do both. So it's gonna be like a tiny card / tag. And I'm gonna go ahead, because it comes in pretty big. Let's take this down to like 3.5 inches, like that. And since I do wanna make this a card, I could technically make it a double-sided card so it says We're a Perfect Match on both sides. But I think I'm just going to pull in a square the same exact size as this, so 3.5 by 4.99. So unlock your shape, do 3.5 by 4.99, okay? And then what we'll do next, let's zoom in. Just gonna line it up. I'm gonna select both of them and hit Align Center Vertically. Make sure that they are touching, and make sure this is the color that you want it as well. I'm just gonna make mine white, or you can make it like a pink or an orange to match the card. And then I'm gonna select both of them and hit Combine, no. And then I'm gonna select both of them and hit Flatten. And then I'm gonna go up here and take a line, and I'm going to pull it right down the middle of this, and it's gonna need to be a score. So if it comes in and it says basic cut, make sure you set it to score, and it should look like a dotted line, and then we're gonna select that all and attach it. So now Cricut knows, hey, I want to make a score line right down the middle there, okay? So from here, we're gonna go to Make. And that seems a little big for me. I'm gonna shrink this down just a little bit, and this is totally personal preference, but you can make these as small or as big as you want. Okay, and then you could fit probably You can fit 2 on there. If we made it a little bit smaller, we could fit 3 though. So typically I would add a hole here. You can go ahead and add in a circle if you want to run a string through. I would put it up here in this corner. I'm gonna actually put 2, so because it's gonna be folded down the middle, right? So we wanna put it where the ribbon can go right through there, and then we can select these both and make sure they are aligned vertically, and then select them both and attach them to the card. And then we'll go make, and then we're gonna do 3 copies, and then we're gonna hit continue. I am gonna keep bleed on because again, this card has color all the way to the edges of the design. Feed for mirror tray at best quality, and go ahead and print that. So we're gonna go ahead and put these on our mats to be cut. And you're only gonna need a few other things like some cellophane bags and a ribbon of your choice. And then obviously a cute pair of socks. We got ours from Hobby Lobby, but you can find these in packs for pretty cheap at many different places. Okay, so while that cuts out, I'm gonna go ahead and get a cellophane bag ready. I've got some cutie little socks here. You could get some Valentine's themed ones or whatever works best for you, or some that maybe they would like. And then I'm just gonna take a piece of cute ribbon, put it behind the bag. And then we're gonna leave that just like that because we're gonna put the tag on before we tie the bow. So you always tie it up, put the tag on, and then tie the bow. Right here are our cute little tags. I'm gonna pull these away from the mat. They've got holes and score lines already ready for us to go. So you're just gonna fold it right at the little crease. How cute is that? I think these would be perfect Valentine's Day gifts in my opinion. They're so cute. And then you're just gonna take your little bag and we're gonna, well, let's write in this first. Let's write Happy Valentine's Day, XO Alicia. Cute. Okay. And then I'm going to thread this through the back. And then you can trim the tails. And you have this super cute little Valentine's gift. I think this is so sweet. It's a card and a tag in one. And they can kind of hang on to this as a little memento. All right, that was so much fun, you all. We created 3 super simple projects. It did not take us that hardly any time at all. I hope you all learned something in today's video. And if you want to learn more, make sure to check out our website. We have tons of very good information on using your Cricut, learning about how to sell your crafts, things like that. And we would love for you to be a part of our community. So I'm going to put some links below for you all. And like I said, if you want to recreate any of these, we've always got the links in the description for you as well. I hope you all are having a wonderful new year, and I hope you all have a very happy Valentine's Day as well. Bye, guys.